it's been difficult trying to keep up with all the requests, you know, for the videos. I've got people requesting hoovers, people requesting cars, people requesting radio videos, people requesting this, blah blah blah. So it's been difficult trying to keep up, but now I've got around to it. I need to make a patch lead, so I'm going to teach you lot how to make a patch lead and how to solder a PL259 plug onto the end of your coax, if it'll ever focus. Now this one I've put on for demonstrations, but I haven't soldered it yet. I haven't soldered the end of it yet. I've just put it on just for demonstrations, and what you're supposed to do, I dare say there'll be arguments on this. Be quiet, you radio. I dare say there will be arguments on this. People probably do it differently, but I've done it this way for the whole nearly 3 years I've been on the radio, and I have never had any problems. Now, you cut it back, you screw it on, and you make sure the earth isn't touching the middle bit. It's as simple as that. And then you solder the end of it. So, I've put this end on. What I'll do is I'll do the other end so that you can see me do it. So here we go. We're gonna have to jump cut when I put the camera on the tripod, and then we'll get to it. Right. It doesn't actually say it on this cable, but it's a good idea to use a good quality cable. This is RG213U black cable. I've got the red stuff as well. This is the black, as you can see in there. Hopefully, if it'll ever focus. Is it going to focus? There we go. You got the inner core, you got the plastic bit, whatever that's called, and then you got the insulator, the earth bit around it, and then you got the outside protector. So what you need is you need a decent pair of side cutters. I use these small ones usually, but I have got these bigger ones which I use for the heavier duty cable. And all you need to do is you need to grab your PL259 plug, and I usually take the little thing off of it, take the little screw thing off of it, and just get rid of that. Put it down there for later on if you want. You've got the other one on it, keep it on, so later on you can just bring it up and screw it on. And you'll see the PL259 itself, the metal one. Hopefully we're going to get some focus in a minute. There we go. That's how it is. That's what it looks like. It's got a thread inside it. It's not focusing very well because I'm in the background, but there we go. What you need to do is you need to measure. You need to put it up to it. I usually put it up to it, so you've got the top of it there, and around about where the thread is on the outside, that thread on the outside there, around about there is usually where I start to cut, is where I cut to get rid of the outside bit. So around the top of that somewhere. So then you just take your little side cutters and just make a few little snips around the edge. Some people probably use knives. Some people might even say that I'm doing it the awkward long way around, but this is the way that works for me. You know, and if this doesn't work for you, then you find your own little method, you know. Use a knife and cut around it with a knife if you want, you know. However you want to do it, but what you got to do, as you see there when it's split, hopefully we're going to get some focus. Wrong side. There you go. You'll see inside there when it splits. You see you do not want to be cutting that braiding. That's what you do not want to be cutting. You want to be cutting just the outside rubber, or whatever it's called. And then you can just yank that off. A pair of pliers would come in handy to yank it off, but I've gone and left them over the other side of the room there. So there we go. There you go, and that comes off. Chuck that away, and then what you're left with is the wire, but without the rubber on the outside. So then you have to split this down, get this, split it all down like that, nice, and try and do it nice and uniformly, nice and neatly if you can, like that. Put that down there for later on, save that for later on. And then this some people might measure it, do this, do that. I just guess. I just do it by guesswork, but I don't take too much off because you can't put it back on again. But if you take not enough off, you can always take a little bit more off later. So you want to guess randomly where you want to be taking this off, and you know, I would guess it to be around about there somewhere. So you want to do the same thing again. You want to make little snips around this. I don't know what it is. I don't even know what it is. Plastic, I suppose. I don't know what it is. But you want to make little snips around there, so that you can easily, you know, get rid of it. And then you just keep snipping at it. You know, if you want to, you could probably use a knife again for this. Like I said, this is the way I like to do it. Everyone is different. People have probably been doing it for years and years, and they'll be like, well, this is how I've done it. This is how I've done it for 30 odd years. You're doing it wrong. Well, I don't care, because this is how I do it and it works. Now, you end up with this. You got the inner core there. Now what you want to do is you want to twist it, because in my experience, when you try and poke it into that PL259, the little braids, they often get caught on the inside and then they peel over. So you don't want to be peeling it over. So this is where a pair of pliers comes in handy, because this is quite tough, and I don't know about you, might have tough fingers, but my fingers, they're not very tough and I can't twist that very well. Right, here's the pair of pliers, and you just want to get the end of it and just twist it like that. Twist, 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 twist. Twist them all up nice and, so they're nice and neat, yeah, nice and straight, attached to each other perfectly. Hopefully we'll get some focus now and you can see that. Come on. There we go. Hopefully that's focusing. You can see that that's nicely twisted together. You get your PL259. It's up to you. Sometimes I cut down these first. Other times I put the PL259 on and cut them down afterwards. I think actually this time I think I will cut these down now. It might be easier for demonstration purposes to cut them down now. So you just cut down your braids. Get your side cutters wherever we are and just cut them. Rip them off. Get them out of it. Get them out of line. You don't want them not that long anyway. You want them, but you don't want them that long. You only want them to be so they're contained nice and neatly inside the plug. That's what you want. Right, now you poke all these down again. They're probably still a bit too long, but there you go. What can you do? Life is what you make it. You got to try and get it so you want to try and make sure that goes in there like that. But you want to try and get it so your inner core goes inside there, and you have to just push it together and screw at the same time. Right, here we go now. As you can see, it's all screwed on. It's probably just about enough for me to get the solder on there. You need to make it ideally so that the inner core pokes out like this one has. You need to get it so the inner core is poking out, you know, so you can get a decent solder on there. But I reckon that one's just enough for me to get some solder in there. Get it in there nice and deep. And you got to make sure, hopefully I'll better pick this up in the camera. You got to make sure that in those holes none of that braiding has come up and is touching, you know, the inner bit at all, because then that will short it out. But that's why you use your meter, and we'll test that after we've soldered it. You can test it before you soldered it as well. It's the same process, and I'll show you how to do it after I've soldered it. So I'm going to take both of them off actually. Makes it easier to solder. Now it's going to be a jump cut now because I'm waiting for the old soldering iron to warm up. while we're waiting for the old soldering iron to warm up, I mean, I like these gas ones. I think they're pretty good, these gas ones. Don't know where I got mine from. I got it from eBay somewhere, but it's a nice one. Whatever that is there. Just takes ordinary butane gas, lighter gas. Nice bit of solder. Now it's going to be tricky for me to do this because I ain't got any bench space, you know. It's handy to have a vise and clamp it on a vise, but I don't have that, so all you need to do is you just need to drip your solder. Oh, come on, you camera. Give me a focus, come on. Give me a focus. There we go. Right. You need to dip your solder in there, yeah? You need to get that all soldered up. And I'll jump cut and I'll show you what it looks like. Right then. Once you've done that, you'd have soldered it up as neatly as possible. I'm not the best at soldering. I'm by no means the best at soldering, but I've managed to get a solder joint in there, and ow, still a bit hot, but there you go, can't complain. Now once you've soldered your patch lead, what you want to do is you want to grab yourself a multimeter. Now you want one like this, ideally a analog meter analog meter. This particular one's a Radio Shack one. It's just a cheap one I bought from Radio Shack purely only to do the conductance testing on the patch leads. It's the only reason I got this one, and I like to set it to the one that makes a little beep. One that makes a little beeping sound when there's continuity there. You can set it to whatever one you want, but I like the one that beeps, because then it makes a sound, and you know, not only does it come up on the meter, but it also tells me, you know, by beeping. Now let's try and make this so that you can see it at the same time. It's going to be difficult. Zoom in a tad. Yup. Right. So, what you want to do is, without touching it yourself, right, you want to touch the negative one. Come on, you stupid camera. What's the matter with this camera, man? Focus. Right. The negative one on the you know, on the outer core. Don't know why this camera's not focusing. It's a pain in the ass. Maybe if I do it like this, maybe it'd be better. You lot that watch my videos regularly, you know I'm the clumsiest person in the world, so you know this is why it's being clumsy. But yeah, if you touch one on the that one on that one, see the meter goes up and it makes a noise. Yeah, that's what you want. If you touch one on the inside and one on the outside and the meter goes up and it makes a noise, that's not what you want. That means that you've got there's a bit of braiding touching on the inside there somewhere. But if you touch one on the outside and the other one on the outside, yeah, like that. Hopefully that's clear enough for you. Because I'm so cock-handed, that's why this is going all astray. But because, you see, if you touch one on the outside and one on the inside, you want it to be quiet. Like that. Both on the inside, both on the outside. That's what you want. So that means this is a good patch lead, and it means my solder joints were good. It means everything was good. This patch lead is now ready to go. Now this applies for soldering any 259, any PL259 plug on, whether you're making your antenna coax or whether you're making a patch lead. That's as simple as that. That's what you want. That's how you do it. This is just a small patch lead for demonstration purposes, but I am going to use it as well. I didn't waste coax from PL259. But yeah, Now if you buy a mag mount for your car, it'll have these ready made, and you can buy coax in lengths with the PL259s on both ends, but sometimes it's not practical because you can't stick the coax through the holes in your walls when you put your antennas up with the PL259s on, unless you drill bigger holes. So you can put your coax through, cut it to length, and then solder your PL259 on the end, and there you go. Make sure you always buy the good quality ones that are brown. The good quality PL259s have the brown inside there, and they're good quality. You can get cheaper ones but are black or whatever. That's not what you want. They work, but they're not perfect. So there you go. Any more requests, let me know. Hopefully there won't be too many arguments on the way I've done it, because it works for me.